Hello out there, wherever you are. As for me, it's been a little while since I've covered anything historical on this channel. And, let's talk about more recent history. Where were you September 11th, 2001? I can tell you where I was. I had just graduated high school. I was heading to community college of Allegheny County. Had an English class, and was listening to Howard Stern heading in, and he was a plane had crashed into the World Trade Center. They were kind of laughing it off. They didn't realize the extent. They thought it was like some small prop plane that crashed, and I left it at that. They weren't aware that it was a giant thing. It's always like they were like, oh, why can't you see the tower? Which obviously nobody knew the extent at that point, but I had left it at that. I went to class, and the way my college is set up was like a Aztec tomb. The ground floor was the 6th floor, and it was built over a hillside. So I went all the way down to the lowest floor. On the lowest floor, I had my class. Had the class while everything was going on, came back up, and when I came back up, there was one of those AV TVs that was out in the hallway, and everybody was gathered around it. Walked around, didn't check my phone, didn't check any news, didn't check anything. Walked kind of through the crowd to see what was going on, and saw one of the Twin Towers just completely collapse. Which obviously, not expecting that, coming from not knowing anything, was a shock to me. Then a teacher got on the like one of those mega horns, and they're like, classes are canceled, planes have crashed in the World Trade Center, plane crashed in the Pentagon, and there's one headed this way, which was very, a bit traumatic that, the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and the Community College of Allegheny County Boys Campus is not the message I don't think they were trying to send. But the plane that was headed this way was Flight 93. Flight 93 was heading, it was California flight. They turned it around Cleveland, actually went past Pittsburgh, and was heading for a Washington destination, which was, I believe, either the White House or the Capitol building. But because of the people on board rushed the cockpit, and it ended up crashing in a field in Shanksville, PA, and that's where we are today at the Flight 93 National Memorial. I have passed this many times on many other trips, and always thought, wonder what's doing there, what's going on there. So today we're going to explore and see what it's all about here. So let's go take a look. This path here actually represents the flight path of the plane as it descended into the field here, and it leads, they kind of, I had watched something on it, they kind of built this wall to kind of shield it from, so you don't really see it until you see it, but the fact that it came down, and I guess through projections and everything, they know that it followed this specific path. I didn't realize they had the little timestamps. I think I missed one. I missed the World Trade Center one. It was like this. So the boulder down there, if you can see it straight ahead, down that rock. See that rock here? Yeah, the rock is where they crashed. Go and see what is inside here.
drive to New York.
Everybody.
And then those don't look like twin buildings. Just take that off.
Just the regular things that they were set to do during the day, as well as the congressional record. Call to order.
Municipal, city halls, residential, the mayor's residence, things that could be considered potential targets.
The city asked the Federal Aviation Administration for permission to close down airspace in all of New York, lest there be a third aircraft or some other untoward incident involved.
Today we've had a national tragedy. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country. And have ordered that the full resources of the federal government.
Reports, and we are still struggling to confirm the information. I can tell you, Dan, that the working theory here is that this is the work of terrorists. They specifically believe this is the work of Osama bin Laden. Probably don't have to pick up any information.
We have a breaking news story to tell you about. Apparently,
In all of New York, lest there be a third aircraft or some other untoward incident involved.
The crew are in blue, so that's the pilot. That's pretty interesting. Did you always film this, Tom?
They specifically believe.
The second building notified plane is just too late to allow. The entire building is That's pieces of the plane.
With almost no time to die, they gave the entire country an incalculable gift. They saved the Capitol from attack. They saved God knows how many lives. They saved the terrorists from claiming the symbolic victory of smashing the center of America. And they did it as citizens. Ordinary people, given no time off to the side, given nothing.
Let's see.
For generations, people will study the flight, the story of Flight
Thoughts
93.
carved in wood. Somebody took a knife and carved some special saying. See, USA.
I feel like we can walk in this field.
Huh?
I swear we can walk in this field.
See, it's out there, straight ahead, the boulder thing. It's out there. It's over there.
Oh, there it is. I'm
Yeah.
looking this way.
No, it's...
Okay, I see it.
Yeah, see, look. And then you can see, like...
Yeah. See the boulder?
You
See
can't
the
walk...
white sheets
Yes.
or whatever's there. Look straight off real far
Yeah, I
down.
see that.
You can't walk all the way to the boulder. There's, like, a limit.
Okay.
It like, stops at a certain point. It's a pretty cool museum that they put together. You know, for Flight 93, obviously ties in World Trade Center and Pentagon, the other attacks during that day. But really cool. You know, kind of the same feeling that I had at the World Trade Center Memorial. Very quiet, very somber, not a lot of talking. So when you hear, you know, I didn't want to do a lot of like narration over it, because when you actually hear and see what's in there, it's kind of that same feeling. And it's different than, for some reason, maybe it's just because that I was alive and, you know, some of you watching were alive. You know, I can walk into a Civil War and, you know, different, like older, like French Revolutionary War and all that stuff, and it doesn't hit with the same impact. Maybe also because that's military. Like even with the Civil War, Revolutionary War and stuff like that was all military. Even Pearl Harbor as attack was still on the military, versus this was real people going about their business, being on planes, being, in the World Trade Center, of which I was in the observatory there. There's something that hits a little bit different about those type of memorials. So I just wanted to kind of show you. So if, there's no background music, no, it's just whatever the noise was that was in the building at the time. I didn't realize the size of this thing. It's actually, there's the memorial up there.
Nothing there.
You barely hit him.
Fresh site debris field.
I guess the lights at night. Considering it was an empty field, they turned it into a solid memorial, I would say. See? Take a little walk on the ridge. As that plane doesn't crash in this field is just this without that monument up top. It's just a random either farmland or field. Doesn't have this giant curved bridge on it. This is the newest addition to the Flight 93 Memorial, the Tower of Voices. Let's see. It's weird because this is actually considered the national park, but it's actually a couple miles away from the actual museum and the boulder and the memorial wall. So it's strange that it's that far away from it. I thought it would be in the complex, but maybe that's because when they add the chimes, the wind is going to make it, and maybe they want to save the actual memorial for kind of quiet reverence, which is understandable. Maybe that's why it's so far away, because I didn't really understand because I thought it was right next to it. When I had heard the thing, I thought it was down by the memorial wall, but it's not. It's actually many miles away. Well, that'll wrap it up from the Flight 93 National Memorial. My first time here. Definitely hits all the points in terms of remembering that day, remembering those people lost, remembering all the lives lost. And it puts it as a fitting tribute to those people. It's very well done. Definitely put, you know, a lot into it. I wasn't really sure. I'll be honest, I didn't really know what was here. I knew that they put it as a memorial, but they really made it into like a full like national park. But yeah, you know, history is not always easy, and you know, it's a lot tougher when you've lived through it. You know, the people I'm sure lived through like Pearl Harbor, World War II, and things like that. You know, when you see World War II memorials, obviously as a lover of history, you know, seeing those things is kind of a little bit lost on me versus people that actually lived through that event. But this is one where, you know, I can say I actually lived through that event and understand, you know, kind of how it changed our lives, you know, and everybody's lives. Oh, it's doing something. It's chiming. Okay. So like all of those together, when they start adding more, that's cool. Yeah, so they're actually doing like chimes, but I'm sure it'll be much more as it goes on. But yeah, that'll wrap it up for the Flight 93 National Memorial, Shanksville, PA. My name is Tom, and I was here. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye, everyone.